You've heard what Stephen Dorrell said. Do you agree with him?
Well, Stephen put his case in a very responsible way, but what concerns me is that there seems to be growing in the Conservative Party and among ministers a feeling that because the electorate disliked austerity, that this is the message that has come back, and therefore it ought to be discarded. People are talking about austerity as though it was an issue of too many repeats on television, or they'd got tired of watching Poldark and wanted a better programme. This is not a choice. It is unavoidable that we have restraint on public spending. People may not remember the fact that there was this severe financial crisis, as you said, in 2007, 2008. The shadow of it is still with us. And therefore, because, as you pointed out in your interview, the stock of debt is still at a very high level indeed, 86% of GDP. If there were another slowdown in the economy, if there were another financial crisis, if interest rates were to go up, and interest rates are likely to go up, all this poses severe problems for the government.
On the
What I object to, is just the general point that austerity, which is just another word for living within one's means, is not really austerity.
Not really austerity, really? You'd say that to that nurse in the audience with Theresa May? You'd say to her, we haven't had austerity?
Look, private sector pay has declined in real terms. Public sector pay...
It's been going up more recently, though, in real terms, hasn't it?
I'm sorry?
Private sector pay has been going up relative to public sector pay recently, hasn't it?
Public sector pay is on average higher than in the private sector, and even adjusted for qualifications, still above, adjusted for like.
So what do you say to that nurse?
I would say in the NHS, where there is an issue of recruitment, if there is a shortage, yes, you've got to look at that. But what I am objecting to is the more general pressure that is being applied, not by Stephen, who made his case very responsibly, the idea that we should abandon restraint on public expenditure. The control of public sector pay is extremely important. It's roughly half of current expenditure, and it's about 30% of total public expenditure. Comes to 200 billion plus a year.
What about the idea that
have a restraint on that?
Two things. Number one, that actually our annual deficits as a proportion of GDP